G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Aussie Starcraft as we bring you the grand finals from Dreamhack Winter. The bottom left hand corner is LiquidTaeja and the top right hand corner it is Startale Life. It's been an absolutely epic series between these two players thus far. They actually are one game apiece, each having taken one of the previous two games, and what great games those were. If you haven't seen them already, you should duck back and watch them in the channel. The link should be down below in the description. Game one, very long macro game, was extremely exciting to watch and very dynamic from both players. Game two was absolutely hilarious, so I'm not going to spoil what happened. If you haven't seen it, go and check out the video. Now, we had a bit of a technical glitch yesterday. I actually managed to upload this video, and for some reason the commentary wasn't attached to it at all, so that's a bit of a brain fart on my part. Normally I test them before I upload them to YouTube, but for some reason, even though I tested the settings beforehand, it didn't record me at all. So hopefully that won't happen again. Thanks to everyone that pointed that out for me. It was extremely embarrassing, but thanks for showing me nonetheless. It means I can replace the video and get one up there that actually has the commentary everyone was expecting on it. So thanks for that. Always appreciate an extra set of eyes and ears. So now map is of course Yonsu, so it's quite a close in and compact map. Travel distance between the two bases very close together, and only a few ramps separate these two, so it makes quite a dynamic and quick map. You don't have too many longer macro games on Yonsu. Tends to start and end in the 2 or 3 base portion of the game in mid game generally, but we'll see what happens here. Now life grabbing his hatchery before his spawning pool. Taeja obviously being a little bit more cautious as it's a smaller map, just going to wall himself in nice and early, and gonna start out with a Reaper, so continuing to mine gas. It looks like Taeja may go for some sort of quick factory follow-up. While we wait for this game to get underway, just want to thank everyone for the support on the channel recently. Subscribers are consistently growing. We really appreciate everyone sharing the videos with their friends and all that sort of thing. It's that sort of support that really helps us out here at Aussie StarCraft, and we look forward to producing more great StarCraft 2 content for you to enjoy. If you have any requests or replays that you would like us to cast, by all means send them through to aussiestarcraftreplays@gmail.com, and we'd be more than happy to cast those for you. On another exciting note, Blizzard's announced some WCS Oceania action next year, so super psyched to see what form that takes as more details emerge for it. We'd love to see more competitive StarCraft down in our region of the world, so excited to see that. And some pretty boss micro from Taeja here as he slips this Reaper around and picks off all of Life's Zerglings. So if you're wondering, and it actually looks like we have a second Reaper moving out across the field from Taeja. If you're wondering why he's doing this, Taeja's had a pretty interesting playstyle. It's different to some Terran. I mean, all Terran recently against Zerg have been producing 3 or 4 Hellions to try and harass the Zerg player and prevent him from getting the map control that Zerg traditionally get with their speedlings. But Taeja's been doing this pretty consistently with the Reapers and then following up with the Hellion. We have a reactor now out for the factory, and Taeja goes well beyond the early 3 or 4 Hellions. He tends to go to at least 6 Hellions, and rather than try and slip by for a run by on the drones, he actually keeps them outside the Zerg's base, patrolling back and forward, and just tries to ensure that he has the map control that most Terran players don't quite get. And now that we've got 2 Reapers here, he is actually starting to get some drone kills. 2 drones going down thus far, another one being caught between the base, so a total of 3 drones have gone down so far this game, and that's where these Reapers are really starting to actually do some direct damage. They tend to do indirect damage, picking away at creep tumors and that sort of thing. Well, looks like Taeja's micro slipped, obviously focusing back on his base, and does lose one of those Reapers. So we'll pull back the second Reaper here to ensure he keeps it alive for scouting purposes. That Reaper's actually up to 4 kills, which is pretty impressive. Certainly got his money back on that Reaper. The first Hellions are moving out now, or second set of Hellions moving out now. So we are up to 4, and see Taeja's continuing to produce those. So these give him a map control that that other Terran players don't tend to be able to have early in the game. And I think I think the key in that is exactly how he's using them here. Not trying to commit for some early damage on the drone lines that he knows Life will be able to drone up, doing indirect damage with things like picking away at these Zerglings, force a lot of extra Zerglings, which are lava that otherwise would have been droning, and just trying to keep the Zerg back in his base. As you can see, his third orbital already on the field, and Taeja can quite comfortably expand and take that third base because the Zerg player can't get out of his base. So a little bit of different thinking pattern from Taeja, and I think it's really starting to pay dividends in the amount he's able to macro up. If you see, you can see that Life's almost ready to take his own third base, but Taeja's actually got his already established and producing SCVs. Double engineering bay now going down for the upgrades. As I was saying, Taeja could at any point now comfortably grab this third base and know that he can harass Life and prevent these early Zerglings from moving out. The biggest potential threat to Taeja at this point is either the Mutalisks, which are actually now on the way, 7 of them at a time, or Roaches, because Roaches would be able to walk straight over these Hellions, but of course Taeja would have plenty of notice of the incoming Roaches and be able to try to get some units in place to defend at his base. These Mutalisks, however, going to be able to clean up the Hellions quite easily. Taeja trying to escape here. A Mutalisk actually going straight for the base of Taeja, so a little bit of an interesting choice. But who am I to argue with Life? Going to be able to swing in here and get some damage on the worker line. His tower's almost finished. Oh, and unfortunately not able to pick off that SCV. Would have taken 5 mutas to kill that SCV. But Life's going to be looping around with these and be able to do plenty of harassment damage. There's quite a large surface area, this area around the base, that you can see Taeja trying to have to defend against some very active Mutalisks. So Life going to be in a position to do a lot of harassment here, as Taeja didn't have a whole lot of anti-air in place other than these Marines, and there's certainly far too big an area to have to cover with one set of Marines like this. Life getting a lot of Zerglings in position. The way he's hiding them over here makes me think indeed he's going for the Baneling bust. So where's that Baneling nest slipped off to? Produced in behind the natural. You'll see that Life's being very careful here not to hide all his production buildings in one basket. Common mistake, particularly lower level Zergs make, is to hide all their production buildings in one base, and that makes them very susceptible to being picked off during things like drops. Now we have a massive Baneling bust incoming, no centrifugal hook, so these Zerglings are quite slow, and the first few will be picked up. The remaining Banelings actually making it through here. This is looking quite critical for Taeja, as Life just streams through a massive group of Zerglings and Banelings. Quick pick up from Taeja there's going to save some of these Marines, get them placed back on the low ground. As these Banelings make their way up the nest, many Marines die trying to defend this ramp, but the other Marines able to fall back to the safety of the top of the ramp and pick off the remaining Banelings. Lots of workers have gone down. This third base completely exposed. Lots of these SCVs are going to be picked off here, and Taeja finally forces Life out of his base. So all in all, that attack not as perhaps effective as Life would have liked. If he could have gained a few more seconds in the worker line, he would have been able to leave him to take out quite a number of Taeja's workers. Taeja now trying to establish a bunker down at this third base. Some Zerglings going to be picking off these mules, so it's very damaging to the economy of Taeja. But Life just being very careful that he doesn't lose all of his units and leave himself exposed to a counterattack. Third base of Life is established now, but as you can see, there is no drones mining there. He's so busy trying to make this early aggression work. Indeed, you can see that he's very consistently cleaning up all of these Marines and Roars, but Taeja's position is fantastic. Every time you can move these units back and hide them against things like this mineral line, makes it very difficult for Zerglings to get us around. So pro tip for all of our Terran players, the positioning of your Marines like that makes them way more cost effective than they otherwise would have been. As you can see, cost efficiency starting to favour Taeja here, though Life has been doing very well in this engagement. Oh, another Widow Mine hit's gonna put put Taeja further ahead in this game is Widow Mine's very cost effective against both Zerglings and Mutalisk. One, because the Widow Mine itself, it costs virtually nothing, 75 minerals, 25 gas, and it kills 100 gas Mutalisk with every detonation, not to mention those Widow Mines that are blowing up vast clumps of Zerglings and Banelings. So Widow Mine's a nice choice to defend against Zergling counterattacks, as the counterattacks generally don't have any overlords left to spot the Zerglings. So see these Widow Mines actually up to 7 kills on this Widow Mine, so it's been consistently well positioned there, but Life's actually made it up into the main base with some Zerglings, and Mutalisk here picking off a few workers. Not going to be able to get that missile turret with 6 Mutalisk though. The Mutalisk will be taking some substantial damage from that missile turret, but he has managed to prevent Taeja from being able to mine at this base, actually morphing these Banelings in plain sight of the Marines. I'd love to see Life utilise some burrow like Scarlet did in the Red Bull competition, but unfortunately it seems that Life's a bit too strapped economically speaking to grab that research. And Life, Taeja saves this command center by the skin of his teeth. All his work is actually being pulled off to try and rescue that, and he'll say that the command center got to almost 50 life there before being repaired, so Life unfortunately unable to kill the command center, and Taeja looks like he'll pull back and try and stabilize on 2 bases. Looks like Life's finally going to be able to produce some drones for this 3rd base. 13 drones on the way for that base. Life consistently active with these Mutalisks. I love how aggressive he's been. A lot of players produce the Mutalisks and wait far too long before they make them effective. They either get active with too small a group to really be effective, or they wait till the group's too big and there's too much anti-air on the field. Life managing to produce 10 or 15 of them stay just very active, getting a lot of map control with them. Taeja hasn't been able to get out of his base in the last 5 or 6 minutes of the game. Life just consistently being able to hold him at bay. If we check out the upgrades, Taeja's actually at 2-2 upgrades, whereas Life actually has no upgrades whatsoever. These are absolutely vanilla Banelings straight out of the hatchery, and being sent to their gruesome death without any upgrades whatsoever. So little bit interesting. +1 melee attacks finally starting for Life. He's starting to get a little bit more money. But Life's macro has been absolutely impeccable in this game. He wasn't able to produce the drones to get this 3rd base mining for some time, but that wasn't a slip in his macro. That was just an absolute need for every lava to be dedicated to these Zerglings and Banelings that are keeping Taeja in his base. Life here actually going to pick off a missile turret here, and it's this constant aggression that's going to keep Taeja stimming and stuck in his own base. Every time Taeja has to stim to try and defend, he's got to wait for those Marines to be healed by the medevacs. So it does indirect damage on the Marines, not to mention the direct damage of actually killing missile turrets and picking off these little add-ons. So Life just being very consistent. Surprised to see his Overlord still surviving. 1 or 2 Marines could have swung around and picked that off, but giving Life vision of the main base. Taeja just consistently building a steady swarm of Widow Mines here. Taeja trying to move out across the field. We have quite a lot of Marines committed to this press here. Taeja obviously feeling that this creep is starting to encroach on his Terran dominion, and going to move out and push a little bit of it forward, but Life as usual is swinging around the other side, and nice connections on the Banes here. You can see all the scarred remains of those SCV chassis laying around here, so quite a lot of economic damage done with that run by, and Life just persistently with a 2-prong aggression. If the Zergling Banelings are at the 3rd, he's in the main with his Mutalisk, and it's just doing a great job here. Gonna try and just going to kite back and forward between the command center and the refinery. Force back as these Marines stim up, but yet again is 15 Marines that are going to have to be healed up. Taeja deciding it's time for some static defense and throwing it down in epic style. 4 missile turrets in his main base, and a massive Zergling Baneling force moving out from Life, and it's just a little bit terrifying, but not quite as terrifying as the minefield that's waiting to greet it. If this force commits down here, it'd be an absolute Zergling death trap. as the Centaur missiles unload into the group. But Taeja actually moving out with a phenomenal group of Marines here. If we check the unit counting station, 66 Marines on the field. So Taeja not actually electing to go for very many Marauders at all, in spite of the fact that he's seen just how many Banelings Life's willing to produce and use. 3-3 now on the way for Taeja, almost complete actually, 20 or 30 seconds from completion. Life himself actually grabbing his 2-2 now, but there'll be a good 2 or 3 minutes of this game where there's a significant upgrade advantage in Taeja's favour, and I have a feeling that's when Taeja's looking forward to moving out. So Taeja continuing to macro up behind us, 9-10 Marines at a time, reinforcing this substantial group. Life moving out with this massive Zergling Baneling follow up here. As the game moves into the 20-minute mark, it's quite interesting just how delayed, because the action this game, it's quite delayed. 3-3 only just finishing up now. 2-2 for Life. Those upgrades considerably delayed to when you normally expect them to be seen, and that's wholly a reflection on the pace of the action in the game. There's not been the economy that you would normally expect because of the consistent harassment and trading of units. Taeja actually forced to take his main base out of his main and use it as his fourth base instead of the traditional planetary fortress, and that wholly because of the aggression from both these players. So Taeja moving out with a massive Marine force, actually 90 Marines in this group, and that's an absolutely terrifying sledgehammer of terror. A massive group of Marines, 2 Marauders on the field as well, but it's the massive DPS of these Marines that should be wholly terrifying for Startale Life, as particularly when you're trading off with very temperamental units like the Banelings. You got to ensure they get fantastic connections, because if you don't wipe out this Terran force, what's remaining will do massive damage to you before you can swing back around and clean up the rest of the force. So if this Terran force, sorry, that thought didn't quite come out correctly. If you do not wholly destroy this force and it's pressing against your base, then the remaining half are more than capable of winning the game. So you have to be very careful, make sure your Baneling detonations are ideal, and ideally you want to engage it when it's still some distance from your base so that you can continue to morph units as you lose them. So it looks like Life actually going to force Taeja back here as he commits to a massive counterattack. Those Zerglings are the unluckiest Zerglings in the world, running straight through the minefield and copying 6 Sentinel missiles. Taeja in a nice position on the top of the hill, force Life back. And I have a feeling Life with those Marines engaged just a little bit too close, and a substantial number of them will die, but that's a signal Taeja's looking for as he moves in here. He's going to pick off the first extractor and delay the gas income of Life. Taeja actually stuck on the ramp, so good for Taeja but horrible for Life as he engages in that checkpoint. Life actually cutting those Marines in half as he drops the rocks literally on top of them. They slide out of the way, but the army is divided in two, so nice positioning from Life as he really delays that push there and is able to save his third base. This economy quite crucial as his first and natural virtually mined out. Taeja though not willing to be slowed down, continuing to produce Marines 9-10 at a time. Drilling Claw's almost done for these Widow Mines now, and that's an example of just how delayed the upgrades have been in this game. Normally that upgrade would have been expected 5 or 6 minutes ago at the latest, but still being researched. Taeja here, nice positioning from his Marines yet again, using the geysers and mineral line to his advantage, but Life able to push this back with a big morph in of Banelings. These Mutalisk clouds still continuing to grow up to 21 Mutalisk now. Taeja, however, steady stream of Terran on the way, and see these massive groups of reinforcements moving out. Third base is exposed now to a potential counterattack, and Life is moving out. So there's a lot of missile turrets here. Oh, Widow Mine detonates a bit prematurely, and Life's actually going to be able to clean up all of these missile turrets. Overseer now with it, so they will in fact be able to see those Widow Mines, but Taeja's going to take the chance to swap for Life's third base as well. So Life taking a base, it's a base for a base in Taeja's eyes, and he's going to push in and kill this third base. Third base does go down. Broodlings are going to clean up. Poor Marauder dying to those Broodlings, perhaps the most effective Broodlings ever. That's Taeja with a massive Widow Mine contingent in the middle of the map. You can see Taeja actually sprinkling buildings down in his third base. If you're wondering what this is for, you'll notice it's not a complete wall off. It's a slight positioning so that units can actually get through, but not completely walling. If you're wondering why, it's the fact that Taeja is expecting Ultralisk. With this many Marines and not a whole lot of Marauders, one of the most logical late game counters for Life is Ultralisks, and Ultralisk would have a terrible time trying to engage with all these buildings in the way, particularly with the Marines and Marauders hiding in behind it. Life using the Mutalisk to great effect, these Mutalisks just being so cost effective for Life. In a game where you would expect the units lost to be massively favouring Taeja, well actually now actually starting to favour Taeja, but in a game you'd expect to be so much more in Taeja's favour, particularly with the time Taeja spent with a better economy. Life has just continued to pick away at the edges of Taeja's base and really make him reproduce structures that he didn't want to build and just do consistent damage. So great control from Life with these mutas. If ever you want an example of someone whose mutalist control you could mimic, it's Life in this game. So just consistently very active and forcing Taeja to actually open up to consistent counterattacks. Taeja moving out here and Life going for another loop round counterattack, but there's so many Widow Mines here. No, the Overseers are trailing behind. Life, no! Actually sacrificing half the cloud. Perhaps he thought that there was a lot less Widow Mines there and only saw the edge of the cloud, but this Mutalisk cloud is absolutely devastated by that Sentinel missile payload. There's almost 10 Mutalisks died to that, and the remainder are on orange health and can't actually do anything. Taeja's going to move out for the attack now, going to be able to push forward. Life actually trying to cobble together some economy to speak of. His third base just re-established, fourth base mining, but no gas income at his fourth base. As you can see, both our players incredibly low on minerals, less than 500 in the bank between them, and Taeja coming in for what looks like an absolutely terrifying Terran push. There's a lot of Widow Mines with this. It's going to make the Zerglings and Baneling Life very difficult. Taeja just separating a few Marines off here. That Widow Mine actually doing more friendly fire than good and allowing the Baneling to finish off that pack of Marines, so very cost effective there. Always nice if you can get some Zerglings in contact with the Marines and have the Widow Mines do your job for you, but that Widow Mine a little bit better shot. Five Zergling kills on him. These two Marauders just tanking the remainder of those Banelings, going to allow Taeja to get the damage he needs done on this hatchery, and the remainder of the Banelings do get in. A few nice connections there, but the remainder of these Marines are going to muscle in and take a commanding position on this fourth hatchery, and this is Life's economy right here. Life swinging by to do a little bit of counter-attack damage with those Zerglings, but it's not enough, and he will in fact with a drop and this main push clean up the economy of Life, and Life will GG out of the game. So what a fantastic back and forth game between both these players. Just consistent aggression out of both of them. Taeja able to hold off some of those incredible attacks and busts from Life, managing to make enough good decisions to stay in the game, and Life just relentlessly macroing those Zerglings and Banelings, channeling them out the door and into Taeja's base. So it's just consistent good decisions from both our players. Take a map, Yonsu, that's normally such a short game map, but just turning into a relentless battlefield where both players duked it out for 30 minutes. So just a fantastic game from both our players. Hilarious and terrifying to see those Mutalisks that were used so well funneled in to try and minesweep. Obviously Life knew that he had to break the economy of Taeja, and that base was where it was happening, but unfortunately for him, Taeja knew and had sufficient Widow Mines there in place to lure them in for the trap. So great game from both our players. Taeja will take a 2-1 advantage in this game. We'll pop this up on the channel so that you do have Game 3 with some commentary. I know that some of you die-hard fans may have watched it without. I'm sorry for that. Thanks for letting us know. We'll get this up, and as always, we appreciate you taking the time to watch us here at Aussie StarCraft. So thanks guys, we'll catch you all in game number 4. Have a great day.